What's happening, family? Give me 1 second. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Somebody said, why so serious? I'm not being that serious. I was focusing on something for a second. But I wanted to tap in with y'all, man. I recently just did that post. And it had the 4 different symbols, as far as what were the ancestors trying to convey to those through the messaging and the symbols and the symbology. And most people, of course, they wrote under the post, like, tell me more, King, tell me more. You understand me? Some other individual said it's sacrilegious and that it's blasphemy because, we're completely indoctrinated with our beliefs and our religions and our traditions and our ideologies that we don't even think about. What if I was born with a different set of parents? What if I was born in a different religion? What if I was born in an entirely different country, speaking an entirely different language? What would be your perception of truth, belief, and programming then? What if you adopted the same thought process that your ancestors had from their original nature? What would be your perception, belief, thought processes, and higher consciousness then? See, we operate from the paradigm of our programming. So whatever your parents believed, you understand me, whatever your environment provides, then that's all you have to act off that builds your perception, you understand me, that also builds your expressions, which controls your world. And you can be controlled through your faith and your beliefs. Now you have to ask yourself this other question. Is my belief system a limitation, or does it make me limitless? Then this is a very serious question. Does the way you believe, right, your programming, you understand me, your language, your environment, your everything, is it a limitation or does it make you limitless? Most people, if you find out that if you really understand how truth works, and truth is mathematical, right? So everybody talks about truth, you understand me, and everybody thinks that they have the truth. At all the while only closed off to the one idea of truth that they've been spoon-fed their whole life without researching the biasness of their truth or their perceptions, right? Because if you have been taught one thing, then you only know one thing and you can only defend that thing, and we only research our bias. We research the hell out of our bias. We are only trying to confirm the bullshit that we believe. We go on Google. Somebody asked me in my DM some crazy question about Minister Farrakhan, and said that she couldn't find enough research. And I'm like, you researching your bias though. That's the only reason. You understand me? You have to ask yourself, and if you look at your life right now, look at the limitations in your life and the standards that you've set for yourself and the quality of life that you've been able to cultivate, and become so far. You have to ask yourself, is it my programming, my indoctrination, is my ideology? What part of it is not allowing me to grow past where I am? It's absolutely confirmation bias. It's absolutely cognitive dissonance. Absolutely. But we're not willing to grow past these constructs of thoughts that we've been given. We're not willing to deprogram and reprogram and ask ourselves, what if I had a higher programming? Could I go further in life? Could I become more? How is it? Let me ask yourself this question. How is it that earlier civilizations have been able to go further than current civilizations in many different aspects and ways? How is it that they had a deeper understanding of spiritual truth and mathematical truth? How is it? How is it that in certain parts, regardless of how much we have evolved through technology, that there are certain parts of evolution that is still low? See, most people think that evolution comes from this theory of Darwinism. Darwinism is bullshit. You understand me? They tell you that you come from monkeys. You understand me? They don't tell you that you also have the DNA of all of the other animals on the planet Earth as well. You understand me? They don't tell you have the cosmic DNA of the stars within you as well. They don't teach you how to tap into the different laws of Kemetic sciences and spirituality and Asiatic history. You understand me? But there's a lot of you all who believe, right, in things without even checking the standard of that thing to make sure it is the highest truth in the land, and making sure that it is superior knowledge. Superior knowledge never submits to inferior knowledge. And this turns you into a different type of thinker. I want you all to review this thought. And I want you all to understand this deeply. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, don't spend so much time on the initiates, right? He meant don't spend so much time on those individuals that's just getting in, because what it does is it stifles an organization, or it stifles progress. So many people come to me and they ask me to walk them through this consciousness without going through the pain of study. They said, give me the answers. Give me this. Since you brought this to my attention, I also want you to give me the rest. And I say, no, I don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time. You know, if I sit there trying to re-implement and reprogram and give everybody the information at the beginning every time that your mind is sparked, you understand me, then guess what? I stay stuck at the beginning as well in rotation. You understand me? And so we get to this place to where, nah, I'm not at that beginning phase. We at that master phase now. And if you want to learn, then guess what? There's levels of reciprocation to where individual can trade knowledge, right, for resources or currency, however you want to. And there's many different knowledges that are out there that a person can go spend those 10 hours, 100 hours and go study. But if you want it crammed and condensed and you want to pay for that access, then guess what? It's reciprocation. But let's get off that for a subject. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had the knowledge, right? But he surrounded himself with the access. So let's talk about access for a second. Because the average human being, because we are in the information age, the technology age, we understand we're in the knowledge age. So the average human being, because of the internet, has information. They're more knowledgeable, but they don't have access. So you see a lot of smart, powerless people, a lot of smart, poor people, or knowledgeable poor people rather. So don't Elijah Muhammad say, I got this knowledge, you understand me, I know what to do, so let me surround myself with individuals who can implement and execute. Implement and execute. And I seen this growing up as well. Growing up in Oakland at your Black Muslim bakery, I seen an individual, you understand, who had the power, but he surrounded himself with access. So what did Elijah Muhammad do? He surrounded himself with individuals who had master degrees. You understand me? Individuals who had degrees in business and many different things, because when he had the idea and he gave them the knowledge, he said, okay, now let's go execute this thing. Put together this business plan, this business strategy. You reach out to that person. But the problem is we have a very knowledgeable society without access. And so, yes, there's a lot of smarts, or there's a lot of individuals coming to that point of awakening, but they lack proper access. They lack the proper knowledge of finances and credit and business management and organizational skills. They lack the proper knowledge of creating your own and doing for self, meaning instead of being the greatest individuals who are the greatest users of the platform, we lack the proper knowledge of coding, the technology to be able to create our own. So we don't have the proper access. So our community in a division, what it ends up happening is you have knowledgeable individuals that's not connected to the access. Because remember, a genius always needs a benefactor, right? Individuals that can support the ideas without resources are not worth much. So when you connect the knowledge with the access, then we build it all, which is why I'm always on the heads of those who have the access, because they don't have the knowledge. Because if they had the knowledge, then they would fund their knowledge, right? And then you would see them building outward. But we don't see that. Right here, my man. So we have to go through reprogramming, because a lot of us grow up in Christianized thought process, and we grow up, you understand me, individuals giving us knowledge, you understand me, in the form of they're teaching us in churches and, you know, mosques and temples and spiritual places, but they're not giving you the access in order how to cultivate that knowledge and use it and turn it into power. Real power. I'm talking about real power. I'm talking about owning and having land and having resources and having businesses. You understand me? Titles and deeds and names on things. But, you know, we think that we know better. We think that we have all of the answers. We think that our truth is the highest truth in the land. But you never ask yourself the right questions. What else is there for me to know? You understand me? And when you start asking yourself those questions, then you start seeking knowledge that gives you access so you can start executing upon the right things to do. Then we start winning. Then we get to a different place. So when problems persist, solutions exist. And we get to tap in because we start to use our creative capacity. But when we have the idea, we start to connect the dots. So yes, I had this idea, but this person has access, right? So now this person can tell me how to do this particular thing. That's going to make me more effective. You understand me? Doing the right thing, doing the most important thing. Because we know how to be efficient. We know how to protest is efficient, right? That's great. A boycott is efficient, right? That's doing something specific. You know what I mean? You can do it. We can do it very well. But what would be the most effective thing? A boycott. What's a boycott, Keys? A boycott is when you spend your dollar intentionally on the things that you believe in and you support. So instead of the boycott, which is just depriving them of our resources, we boycott and then we support those who we want to see grow, who are in line with our beliefs and our thoughts, our ideologies and things of that nature, right? That's a different level. Instead of complaining about all of the blueprints that exist that the devil uses every single day, then we say, you know what? Thank you. You just taught me how to use this information and this knowledge for my people, right? Instead of complaining about gentrification, we gentrify our own hoods like Nipsey Hussle. He had the access. Why did he have the access? Because he worked together with his family. Why did he work together with his family? Because he understood the importance of working together and building together. See, when you start to look at the whole picture, you ask yourself, and a lot of people are looking at themselves and saying, damn, how come I can't do the same thing? Well, you don't have the same access. So working together with his brother and his team and his hood and other individuals that was around and surrounding him, and that's how you give yourself the access to be more effective doing what's most important so you can have better results. But we think that access is, the church or our books or our religions. But you have to understand those people who created those books, church and religion, those were powerful people. Not just reading it, that don't make you powerful. The implementation and the execution of the knowledge that's within it is going to make you powerful. So how do you gain power? Because that becomes the resources that we need. What is power, Keys? Power is work over time. Power is the ability to control the phenomena of energy. Everything is energy. What power do you have to influence and manipulate energy in our reality? Because they just showed you and they continuously show us that they have power. They can control the energy. They can ban communication. They can cease you to exist on platforms. They can fire you from their jobs. They can make you bend over backwards. They can make you sell souls, pay tolls. You understand me? Pay taxes, lock you up, throw away the key, shoot you. You understand? Get away scot-free. They have the power. So it's not as if they've created something that's mystical and that's only that they can do. What they showing you is a blueprint of power and control. You understand me? It's true. Come on, Derek, you already know. Because you implementing, you know what the access is. You got the knowledge. You come up with an idea, then you say, boom, who gonna give me access? So now you go directly to the person who has the smarts. You know what? Somebody hit me up today, man, and they said they wanted to roll in the in-home banking. And they wanted to, and I was telling them all of the benefits of the in-home banking, and I was telling them all the benefits of the Keys Academy. You understand me? And I told the person that you can pick either one. It don't matter to me. The brother said, you know what? I'm about to support both. And I said, that's beautiful. That's powerful. See, but the average person don't understand that there's abundance in the world. So not everybody would have took that DM and they'd have been like, nah, just enroll with me. No, blah, blah, blah. Nah, I understand the power that there's abundance. Fear makes you think that there's lack. Right, but when you confident, you understand that there's abundance. So I can promote my Keys Academy. I can promote in-home banking. I can promote NFA Studios. I can promote Black on Demand. We think that there's just so much. You understand me? That once I get me a little bit, it won't be enough. You understand me? No, that's not how it works. We work with each other and we build with each other and we grow with each other. But we got all of the power though. Every single ounce of power that exists that we need is already here. It's just transmutation of the things that we have. We get to alchemize energy and turn it into whatever we want to. You understand me? In a real physical and a metaphysical sense. But when you are that person that's always listening to the preacher, you don't understand how the preacher was able to get you to pay for his truck, to pay for his rent. And all he doing is utilizing his knowledge to interpret the word of God. And you never ask how you can get a direct line. You ain't never asked how you can get you know what I mean? Put God on the phone. Let me talk to him directly. Maybe I can get a better understanding. I want to know how how I could tap into what the hell he been doing, because he been getting me pay his rent this whole goddamn time. He been living good. He got big families and stuff. He's traveling all around the world. But we got, like I say, we live in authoritarian society, right? From the beginning and when we're born, we're taught to submit to authority, and that we're less than that person that is over us. Our dynamics of parents, our dynamics of teacher, student, our dynamics of cop and citizen, you understand me? In Confucian, Japanese people know this because it talks about the 4 different relationship types that you grow up in. And it talks about that master-slave paradigm. And we don't understand that. We always thinking something else is the master over us, and we are always submitting to a master. And not a lot of us learn how to turn the trajectory of that and actually become the master, and you start to see things differently. There's a lot of individuals that walk around and they see the world from a master's eyes, and then there's a lot of individuals that see it from a slave's eyes. A lot of individuals see it from a leader, from a student, from a boss, from an employee. And so you get to ask yourself in your daily moves, what am I looking at it from? What level of authority am I giving myself through the execution of my everyday moves as I move about and as I tap in? How is my reaction? Is it from a master or from a slave? Don't you know that 1% of the world is psychopaths? Psychopaths have the inability to feel guilt, pervasiveness, narcissism. All of these become very great things when it comes to business management, because what they end up doing is they create chaos. It's called the dark side of leadership. And in that time that they create chaos, they have the ability to be able to thrive because they're resistant to the chaos. They're not emotionally involved. So they create these situations in these conditions to where that they can thrive in, and they know that you can't. So that they become the boss, they become the master continuously. They do it in workplace, they do it, and they play it on large scales in reality. Crowd control is a real thing. That's why I study the psychology of crowds, because I want to understand my reality in a bigger picture as a master. I don't want to understand it from the aspect of a slave. The aspect of a slave is spoon feeding you only a few things, not giving you the bigger picture, making you knowledgeable but not making you smart. Because if I make you smart, then you start doing the most important things. You start doing the most effective things. If I just make you knowledgeable, you can become efficient at a thing, which means that you can become the greatest worker in the fucking world, but you will never become the greatest boss in the world. You never be the one who actually create the system that everybody is proud to work in, to build up in. Imagine if somebody's dream is to work for you. Think about that. And there's a lot of people who have dreams to go get educated in someone else's institution instead of thinking, damn, let me go research. How can I create my own institution? So you see individuals, we start creating our own institutions, our own academies, our own schools, our own systems of banking, our own systems of collectively pulling resources and creating our own applications. You understand me? Feeding ourselves our own health products, throwing our own events and seminars, and engaging in our own system of politics. Because we understand that we see things from the master's eyes and not from the slave's eyes. So when individuals start to compare and start to use their logic, but their logic is based on the group of ideas that they're pulling from this box. This box is they program, indoctrination, tradition, religion. So logic tells you to be more efficient, but your creative capacity allows you to tap into that masterful thought process so that you can execute with access. So I know that people want me to get on here and complain and yell and, react to certain things, but I got a master mind. I decode and see things way before they actually happen. And when they happen, I just move accordingly. So when you see the passion, it's because, boom, okay, now it was the time. This was the time that I prepared for, so now it's time for me to push a certain energy, right? There's an opportunity. Every time something happens, it's an opportunity. I don't care how bad it is. There's a positive. And sometimes we so connected, so emotionally connected that we don't get to see the positive. We don't get to see the positive. But when you're able to tap into that higher level of accomplishment and achievement, you say that, you know what, it's not about this whole let me just become super spiritual and eat the right foods without having no power. So what is power? Power is the knowledge. That's how you make yourself more powerful. But it's not just the knowledge, it's the smarts. So individuals do what? They go to seminars, summits, get consultations, enroll in different classes that's going to give them the smarts, get mentorships. Learn about finances and credit and different things that gives them the access so that they can utilize those resources to fund what? They mind. The plight of the poor man has always been a lack of resources and the inability to fund his mind. We've always been stuck at the lower totem pole of what? Survival. The lowest totem pole of survival, and you never had the luxury of even feeling like what it feels like to not worry about bills. Just think about that. You never had that luxury of what it feels like not to worry about bills. To say, I just want to move about this world in any way that I want to have freedom. To say that, you know what? There is no white man over me. There is no idea of somebody that's suppressing me and oppressing me and taking me away from my power. I got all of it. I got everything that I need. And guess what? When you start thinking like that, then guess what? You start tapping into different thought processes because you got the luxury to do what? To dream. Like, what's your dream, though, for real? And I'm not talking about the dreams that we get from a society that says that be a lawyer, be a doctor, be all of these. These are given dreams. Those are boxes and things that people gave you. But you think about individuals that created like Apple. Nobody, that wasn't an idea that they could have gave him. That was a vision. It was visionary. Creating the first cell phone. That's visionary type shit. You understand me? Doing a Million Man March. That's visionary type shit. Having a 3rd grade education. Think about this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a 3rd grade education, and he is the greatest business leader so far, right? And what I mean by that is he had, at a 3rd grade education, the man had a bank, his own bank, his own supermarket, his own airplane with an import and export business, and he had his own workspace, his own workspace. So when we talk about WeWorks and Vector 90 and things of that nature, he did it back in the 70s. So why? Because he gave himself access by surrounding himself, right? Having the knowledge to do for self, the blueprint of economics, and then saying what? How the hell was he able to build business with a 3rd grade education? Because he surrounded himself with individuals who had the know-how, because he had the plan, and he was able to connect that together. And that's why the issue of unity becomes so big, because those who have the knowledge, the ideas, and the vision, they lack the resources and lack the access for execution. And so when we get to that point where we can combine the knowledge and the access, right? The influencer with the bank, you understand me? But then at the same time, we get to remind ourselves that we are the bank. So we get to become one and the same at the same time and say, you know what? Let me just use my means to give me access to tap into my creative capacity where I know that I'm considered dangerous, so I won't be given access. Because guess what? Ego, you understand me? Crab in the barrel. Nobody wants to push you to the top. Nobody, they only like pushing one person to the top at a time because they can control one person at a time. But if you allow too many people into the room, what happens? You understand me? Chaos. You can't let everybody in, they say. They don't want everybody. They say everybody can't go. Why not? We can't have abundance. We can't have 1,000 young leaders out here just booming and rocking like that. You can't put everybody on your platform. Everybody can't pop and succeed. But see, that has always been the ability to control the paradigm, is to push one person at a time, because that's the same thing when you in a club or you go into an event, you let one person in at a time so you can control the flow. So when people get in, you can control them. Crowd control. It's an exercise of crowd control, the crowd mind. So we happy when one person makes it or get this, that, and the third, but we don't realize that none of that shit matter unless it's all of us. And that's why the family dynamics and the family structure is so important, because when you boost up one person and they represent a family, then you know how many other people are affected and succeeding at the same time. It's a different kind of level. It's a different level. So, I come on here to give you a sober thought. You understand me? And so you can understand reality in a different capacity, to where certain individuals ain't gonna give you that access to think for self. But a great leader makes you independent, not interdependent upon them. But if we don't create these systems, you understand me, and we don't support those who are creating the systems, then we are just as bad as those who ban us for being dangerous, because we're not allowing ourselves to become more dangerous. So I support individuals because I look up to them and I aspire to be like them in the capacity that they tap into their frequency. And every single day I wake up and I'm always thinking, how can I do something with other people? How can we build together? Because I understand the monumental importance of unity. And not in the let's say solidarity. Because unity becomes now this blanketed word where the brand for unity no longer triggers the right response. Because we've heard it so much that we desensitize to the word unity. We desensitize to it. We say, yeah, unity, 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 bullshit. But when we understand solidarity, coming together for a common cause, that's a different level. So that's what we need. Yo, Crowns, Consultation, and Masterclass, man.